I've been asked over the years for a video on my favourite brushes, or just ask the question, what's your favourite brush for this, or what's your favourite brush for that? And I have got 3 brands of brushes that I love and that I will generally turn to. And they're older brands, they're not new brands, and they're pretty reliable, I would say. You know, I have loved them for years. So I thought I would do a video for you guys. You know, one of those 6 brushes I've used for years, 8 brushes I've loved for years, something like that. Looked through all of my brushes, listed them all down. And out of all of these, I could find one that I would be able to tell you about that you can still buy as a single brush. So I was like, okay, that's not going to work. But I thought it's still worth telling you about my favourite brushes, because in the 3 brands that I love, you can buy sets, and some of the sets have the brushes I'm talking about in, some of them don't, some of them have different brushes. But what I've noticed is it seems the price of makeup brushes has gone down a bit, because I can see why they're not selling them individually. So for example, I saw a set of Ecotools brushes that were £10, and there were 4 brushes, so that's £2.50 each, and I thought that's really good value for money, and I can see why that wouldn't be worth them selling them individually. So what I'm going to do is tell you the 3 different brands of brushes that are my favourites, the brushes that I love and that I have of theirs briefly, and tell you why I love them. And then I will link some of the sets that I found while I was looking. I was looking this all up last night, and I found some really good value sets. And like I said, some of them have these brushes in them. The one brush I did find was this Ecotools one, actually. So Ecotools, for some reason I find that difficult to say, Ecotools brushes are my #1 favourite. If I just had to use one brand of brushes, it may well be this brand, because they are so soft. And I have tried the softest brushes on the planet, and I would say the softest brush I own is actually this one, which is so old it's rubbed off, because I bought this from IMATS, the beauty show, many years ago. It's a Chikahudu, can't say that either, brush, and I bought it because of how soft it was. That was before I went cruelty free. So the brushes I'm showing you today are they're certainly all cruelty free, they're synthetic, and these are vegan. The Ecotools brush are vegan, but these are as soft as the Chikahudu brushes, which are extremely expensive, but these are really affordable, and they're I've never bought a brush that wasn't soft. In fact, there's another brush that I'm like, where is it? No, I can't find it. I had a really big thick Ecotools brush, and I don't know what I've done with that one. That was even soft. It's a real dense one. So these are my Ecotools brushes that I own, and then like I said, there is that one other one, I don't know what I've done with it. You can see this one is the oldest because it's a different colour. These 2 are the oldest out of the ones I own, because that one and that one has gone much darker. This one I use for putting eyeshadow up here, and it is just so soft. And that's what you want, isn't it, on your delicate eye area? You want to be using brushes that are soft. And if I could find this, I would probably buy this again. It's one of those that I could use for my crease. I could use for probably the outer corner. It's a little bit thick, but I could use it for everything. And so I wouldn't mind having more of those, but I can't find that singularly. This one I can find to buy individually, and it is called their full Ecotools full blush brush, but I use this one for bronzer, and it's just brilliant. And again, it's soft. It's just lovely and soft, and such a pleasure to use. So you can buy that one individually. What else have I got here? Oh, this one's rubbed off. I don't know what this is, but I use this for putting powder under my eyes, for setting my under eye concealer. Again, so soft, which is exactly what you want under your eyes. Then what else? I'm going to show you these 2 little ones, because these are my favourites, and you can get these in a little set that I will make sure and link for you. They are perfect, and they're quite unique, really. This one, I think it's called a detail brush, but I use this for putting eyeshadow under my eye here. So you just want a little soft eyeshadow underneath. This is perfect. And then this one is great for really small outer eye work, I guess you'd call it. I can't think of the word. Just anyway, to put colour in here, especially because I have that issue out there where I can't get my eyes even. This is really good to just sort of build up the colour in the outer corner. That's what I was thinking of, the outer corner. This is really good. And as I keep on saying, they're just so soft. These to me would be a dupe of the softness of really hugely expensive brushes. Like Wayne Goss, I've had his brushes. These are as soft as those. So highly recommend those. Real Techniques are next on my list. These are the ones that I have currently and that I use, and my number one favourite from them is their contour brush, and so much so that I did buy 2 when they were available. They've gone a bit sort of sticky feeling on the bottom here. I don't like that. But these are my favourite brushes for blush. I've used these for blush for so many years, and I hope that you can still get these in a set. I can't quite remember. I did find some really good sets from Real Techniques, and I can't remember if they had these in them. Hopefully they did. Then this is, I think it's a blush brush, but I use this again for bronzer, not blush. I would use this for bronzer. And it's just, they're quite soft as well. You know, they're not as soft as the Ecotools, but they are soft, and they do some really unusual brushes. And that's what I like about Real Techniques. That's my reason for loving them, is they're just, again, they're good. They wash well. You know, they're really sturdy brushes, and they stay in their shape. They're easy enough to wash. Oh, do you know there's a brush that's sitting in my bathroom waiting to be washed that I use for foundation? I'm going to go get it. I feel like this might have been called a buffer brush or something, but and I did have 2 of these as well before. I don't know what's happened to the other one. I have these clear outs and decide I've got too much, you know, and then miss the stuff. Isn't that typical? But this one does take a couple of washes to get everything out, but that's fair enough because, you know, it's a foundation brush. It's using a liquid with it. But I use this, and I sometimes use this even for my liquid bronzer after, especially like days on today when I know that I'm going to wash it. I put my foundation on and then I use this for my liquid bronzer. So love that, and I love my Real Techniques contour brushes. But yeah, Real Techniques brushes are quite different. This other one, 2 others that I've got here. This is a nice little eyeshadow brush. That one is kind of like that one I showed you from Ecotools, and it is another one that I use for sort of under there. That would be a fairly decent concealer brush, actually. I think that's what I've been using it for, concealer. That would be quite good with, I use powder foundation, loose powder foundation like the Bare Minerals, as concealer for if I've got any spots, and I think that would be quite good for that. And then this one is the Real Techniques. It's got something on it, 044. And this is what I use for my brows, and it's tiny. I don't know whether this is a liner brush. No, it can't be a liner brush because it's got the brow thing on it, so it is a brow brush. I used that this morning. I used this with my Anastasia brow powder, and it's brilliant. So again, highly recommend Real Techniques. Number 3 brushes brand that I love is Zoeva. These are the brushes that I can currently put my hands on that I love. The first one is a face brush, and it is the 102 Silk Finish. I was sure I was going to find this for you guys, but I didn't. Like I said, hopefully I can find it in a set. But this is also a great foundation brush, so I'm going to get that out actually and use that. These are my clean ones in here, and then the ones that I use, or I'll swap them over. You know, I'll take some out of here when I'm using them and then put these in there and kind of switch them up. But I'm going to take this out and use this for foundation. Love it for foundation. Also great for like cream bronzers, that kind of thing. Really enjoy that. But it's the face brushes, the eye brushes that are my absolute favourite. And it started off, the reason for me buying them was because I got a lot of MAC. I had a lot of MAC brushes when I switched to Cruelty free and was trying to find ones that were the same, and they have brushes that are identical. So this one is the 227, and it is identical to, do I still have my MAC one? I thought I still had the MAC one. I don't think I do. But it's identical to a MAC one. I can't remember the number, but it's brilliant. This is great. This is another one of those multitask. Like, it's great as a crease brush. I could probably use it as an outer corner. I could use it for this bit up here. It's not as soft as the Ecotools brushes, which is why I use them more nowadays. But it's not, doesn't hurt your eyes. You know, it's not one of those prickly brushes. So I do like that. But then I discovered these, which I love so much. In fact, one of them is MAC. Yeah, that one's a MAC one, but that's how similar they are that I can get them confused. But these are the ones that I load up on eyeshadow with, and these are the 237s, I think. Yeah, I've bought at least 4 of these. I love them, absolutely love them. They're just tiny little brushes, and if you want your eyeshadow to really pop, then these are the brushes for you. I don't see me buying more in the future, even if they were available singly, which they're not. But I don't, because I don't tend to wear that same sort of pop of eyeshadow anymore. I'm wearing more sort of matte colours and less more muted colours, and so I don't need that pop. But these are great for putting dry eyeshadow on that you really want to pop, and then spraying the brush and using it wet. They're brilliant for that, and I've used those for years and years and love them. And then this one is a little bit unusual. It is the 226, And this is another one of those that is good for putting colour under your eyes. But this one is a bit thicker than, you know, I showed you a couple of others. But it is, yeah, it's great for that. So I highly recommend Zoeva brushes. I think they've always been really good quality. Again, really easy to wash. Yeah, they're good. They're really good. I was just trying to think there's a lot of brushes I'm missing telling you about, like the one that I use for concealer at the moment is this one, which is Pro Angled Concealer Brush. This is a Beauty Pie brush. I use this to put my concealer on. I'm actually using the KVD concealer with it, and it's pretty good. You know, there are a couple of other brushes that I've found that are good. But what I'll do is I'll maybe do a favourite brushes. If you want to, if you're interested in another brushes video, let me know, and I'll do my favourite brushes and go through each area kind of thing. But like I said, Zoeva for them being MAC dupes, Ecotools for being soft, and Real Techniques for being kind of different, you know, and really good brushes. All of them really good brushes. Also, I guess a mention to Morphe brushes, because I do use a lot of Morphe brushes. I've got a few. Is that a Morphe brush? Oh no, actually, is that a Beauty Bay brush? This is a Beauty Bay brush. I like that as well. That's what I mean. There are a few sort of odd brushes that I could talk about. But for now, that is everything. I would love to know what your favourite brand of brushes are. There are so many, aren't there? I'm actually always being offered to be sent brushes, and I never accept it because I would really like to see brushes in the flesh, you know. And I've just realised I don't have my microphone in, so it's going to be a bit weird, the audio on this. Yeah, I'd like to see them in the flesh. And also I feel with the sets sometimes I'm not going to use all of the brushes, you know. But like I said, I've seen a few sets recently where I'm like, that is such good value for money that it almost doesn't matter if I only use half of them because they work out so cheap. And that was what I thought. I bought a set of Ecotools brushes that was a tenner, and I thought even if I wanted one of those brushes, I wanted it really badly, the brush, and it was like I would pay a tenner for it. So the other 3 brushes are kind of just a bonus, you know. So I'll link the sets that I've found in the description below, and I'll speak to you again soon.